Come up with a kind of killer. This your level getting me from my bedroom. I want like smile, where my like that. This your color, no be fake. My banana.
So guys, to cut the cowl neck top, I already went ahead to draft out the basic bodice pattern. If you don't know how to draft out a basic bodice pattern, I have a tutorial on my channel. I'm going to drop the links in the description box below so you can check it out. So I went ahead to draft out the neckline, the armhole line. This is the chest point. This is where the armhole is going to be. This is the bust point. This is the waist, and this is the top length. Then I added extra 2 inches allowance. So the back of the top is not going to have a zip allowance. So I added extra 2 inches allowance because the cowl neck top is a free top because of the front. The front is free, so you can wear it without a zip. So the next thing I'm going to do is to place this pattern on my fabric and cut it for the back pattern. I'm going to cut the back piece first. So guys, I've already placed the pattern on my fabric. So this is going to be my back pattern. So I'm just going to cut it out. So for the neckline, I used 2.5 by 2.5. So to draft out the cowl neckline, from my bust point, I'm going to slant it to the armhole line. So after slanting it this way, I'm just going to cut it out. I'll just cut it to like this point. And please leave an inch before the end of the side of. So I'm just going to stop here. So after slanting it, this is how it should look like. So I'm just going to place it on my fabric and show you guys how to cut it. I'm going to place the front pattern on the fabric and I'm going to slant it. So I'm going to spread it like this. Let's see what we have here. I have 9.5 inches and I think that's okay for me. So the next thing I'll do is to pin it. So after pinning it, I'm going to trace this out with my chalk. So from the neckline, I'm just going to come straight instead of curving out the neckline. So this is how it should look like. So the next thing I'll do is to cut it out. I'm just going to take off my pins. So the next thing I'll do is to mark the shoulder. This is the shoulder. So I'm just going to notch it. So it will confuse me when I want to join the facing of the neckline. So when I see the notch, I'll know this is the shoulder line. So guys, that was all for the front piece. So guys, to cut out the facing, I'm just going to measure the neckline of the front piece from the shoulder line to the end of the second shoulder line, and I have 24.5 inches. So I'm just going to take my fabric and cut a short facing for it. So for the facing, remember that the neckline is 24.5 inches. So So that's what I'm just going to mark. Then I'll come up by 5 inches. So mark out 5 or 7. Let's use 7 inches. I'll use 7 inches. I think that's better. I just have to. So I'll make sure it's 24.5 inches or 25 to be on the safer side. So I'll connect the lines together and cut it out. I want to add extra 3 inches, so it's going, the measurement for my facing is going to be 10 inches. Sorry for the confusion. So I'll use 10 inches in, and I'll cut it out. So I'm just going to take my facing. I'll make sure I end this part, the down part of the facing, to avoid it from wearing out like this. So after that, I'll place right side by or right side. Place it this way, you can see. Then I'll take half an inch and stitch it. So when I stitch it, it's going to be like this. You should have something like this inside. So that'll be for the front piece. So moving on to the back piece, I'm going to use bias. I'm going to use bias to turn the neckline. So this is what the bias looks like. So I'm just going to take it out. So I'm going to use it to turn the neckline of the back pattern. So when I'm done, I'm going to show you guys the next thing to do. So guys, after turning the neckline with the bias, this is how it looks like for the back pattern. Then for the front piece, this is what it looks like after I have joined it. I went ahead to also iron it. So this is how it looks like. So the next thing I will do is to position it this way. I'll place the back piece on the front piece this way, so you can see the shoulders are meeting each other and the armhole. So the next thing I'll do is to stitch the shoulder by half an inch at both sides. Then I'll take 1 inch at both sides and stitch it down. I went ahead to stitch the shoulder and the side. So this is how it looks like. So the next thing we're going to do is to draft out a sleeve pattern. For my sleeve, I'll be using a puffy sleeve. The sleeve with an elastic at the wrist area. So that's what I want to use for this top. You can use any sleeve of your choice. You can use bishop sleeve, any sleeve of your choice, but that's the sleeve I want to use. So I'm just going to cut it on the pattern and show you guys how to cut it. So guys, to draft out your sleeve pattern, you go back to your fabric and measure your armhole. That's your sleeve pattern. You come down by 3 inches like this and roll out a straight line. At this point, I'm just going to curve it like this. So I'm measuring it and this is 12. So I'm just going to mark it like this, 12 inches. So I'll come down by 14 inches, which is my elbow measurement. But my elbow measurement is not needed because I'm not sewing a fitted sleeve. So from this point, I'm just going to roll a straight line to the end of the sleeve, like this. Let me use my ruler instead. the video was not recording due to phone storage issues. So after cutting out my sleeve, I went ahead to notch it. So that's what I did for the second piece too. So if you are sewing this type of sleeve, I want to use the puffy sleeve. It should look like this. So I'm just going to fold it in 1 inch, 1 inch. I'm going to sew it. I'll do the same thing for the second side. So after doing that, I'm going to fixing the elastic inside. I'm going to pass the elastic through the casing. So when I'm done, I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So guys, after fixing the elastic, it should look like this. Next thing I'll do is to fold the sleeve this way. So I'll take 1/2 inch and sew it. I'll do the same thing for the second sleeve. So guys, after fixing the sleeve, this is what it looks like. I did the same thing for the second sleeve. So the next thing I'll do is to attach the sleeve. So I'll just take it like this. I'll find the notched area and place it on I'll place it on this shoulder area, the middle stitch. So I'm going to pin it. I will do it to the end of this part, then I'll sew it. I'll do the same thing for the second sleeve. So this is how it looks like after I've pinned it. So I'm just going to sew it. After sewing it, I'll turn it to the right side. So guys, I already went ahead to fix the sleeve. So this is how it looks like. This is the cowl neck effect. This is it. So the next thing I'll do is to hem the length of the top. Then after that, that's all for the cowl neck top.